What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Down South Up North. Happy Monday, everyone. Matt, how we doing?
Pretty good. Good week. Let's start off strong.
Yeah, brand new week. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's get straight into the athletic alert. Now, Matt, for this, you're going to be joining me down south. Let's go to Dallas, Texas, baby. And I'm just going to let you take it from there.
Yep. Monday, of course, woke up, was in a pretty good mood till I checked my phone to about 30 notifications that the well, it was my worst nightmare came true. The Dallas Cowboys have re-signed running back Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I fought for this dude for years. Kyle, I'm telling you, like, you get to 2021, even in, like, that first half of 2022, I was like, this dude's still got it. Like, he's going to be good. He's going to figure it out. He's just in a slump. But most slumps don't last about 5 or 6 years. And it's really just the stuff that this organization has done to me over my 2 decades of life has really taken a toll on my mental health. And this is just like the cherry on top. I mean, you can't be Jerry Jones. You can't come out and say you're going all in, and sign nobody in free agency, nobody. And Kyle, agree with me or not, this free agency was loaded with talent.
It was an insane free agency. One of the most explosive free agencies I've seen in a very long time. Again, I'm only 21, so I haven't been around that long, but it was a crazy free agency, to say the least.
And not to mention that everybody went for like a minimum vet contract. I mean, Derrick Henry signed a 2-year, $10 million contract. Are you kidding me? You're telling me Jerry Jones couldn't have done that? No, but he wants to go to Ezekiel Elliott. Back at him. What is special about him these days, man? I mean, he's in Dallas for 7 seasons. Every single year, he consistently got worse. I mean, look, 2016 and 2018, he did lead the league in rushing. I get it. But if you are a Dallas Cowboy fan waking up today and you have the slightest bit of happiness, you are delusional. You are what everybody else says we are. Delusional. It is ridiculous. It is just a stupid move. And the owner, Jerry Jones, is just playing a game with us. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, there's nothing special about him anymore. He's going to be 29 in July. And he has gotten consistently worse. Look at the numbers. Every single season, his production goes down. And now you look at the Dallas Cowboys' current running back room. Rico Dowdle, Royce Freeman, 5'4" Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis, and Snoop Connor. I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with the running backs, but I don't know who the hell Snoop Connor is. Look, hopefully he has a good year. But that's your running back room.
Oh,
there are probably 25 teams with a better running back room than that. All in, Jerry Jones. Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. I mean, look, I know you're upset with Michael Penix, but
yeah,
at least your team is like looking at good prospects. The whole draft. I mean, it's offensive line. I like offensive line. I do. It's a very important position. But it seems like since we drafted Micah Parsons, it's been an offensive line draft every single year. Now, I get it. This year, like, you need to boost off. But is the story really you're getting all of these offensive linemen for Ezekiel Elliott to run behind? The 29-year-old guy who had 3 touchdowns last year? I mean, he 682 rushing yards with the Patriots, who are a run-heavy team anyway? Jerry Jones, I can't with you, dude. I can't. He's destroying my mental capacity, and I'm not gonna be able to watch him this year. I physically am not gonna be able to take the nonsense that's on my screen. I don't know. That's my 2 cents for the athletic alert. I'm over it. I'm over this team. I'm over it.
just a few things I'm gonna tag on to that is it's crazy because let's count how many times Jerry Jones has said this offseason, we're going all in. He said we're going all in free agency. Who do y'all sign in free agency?
No,
No one.
hey, a long snapper. We signed a very important position. We signed the long snapper.
You guys sign a long snapper. You let your offensive line go. Who was it? Tyron Smith?
Now, Tyron Smith went to the Jets, and then we
Tyron
let Tyler Biadasz. I believe he signed with the Commanders with Dan Quinn. So you're losing your center and your offensive tackle who plays 6 games a year. All right, I'm not really missing Tyron Smith that much. I mean, I understand you have to build, dude, but not taking one running back in the draft. I understand it's not a big year for running backs, but
think about it. Like, you guys could have got a Blake Corum, a Will Shipley.
Right, I mean, the amount of offense that was in this draft, there had to be somebody. And now it's going to be Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott as the 1-2 punch in Dallas?
I do have Rico Dowdle on my fantasy team, so that's going to be huge for the program over here.
I mean, I hope, but...
Yeah. No, it's crazy because Jerry's just giving you Cowboys fans blue balls, dude. Like, if I was in y'all's situation, I would be so frustrated because this free agency was so loaded. You had Derrick Henry was a free agent. I mean, the list goes on and on. Stephon Diggs is a free agent.
All the running backs. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry.
I mean, shit, dude. We could sit here for probably 10, 15 minutes and just go up, list all the huge free agents they were. But Jerry Jones has something different. My personal opinion, the second Jerry Jones steps down from being the guy in Dallas, you guys will have success not only in the offseason and in the playoffs because he is a fucking curse. He is cursed y'all's franchise, dude.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, but I mean he holds too much value in that organization. And he has manipulated the minds of millions of fans across the world into thinking that this team's going to have success. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen next year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. It's not going to happen in 5 years. They're not going to do anything. Because guess what? Next year, what are they going to do? They're going to sign Dak Prescott to a mega deal. And he's going to go out there and have an average, mediocre season and get knocked out in the first or second round of the playoffs. If they even make the playoffs.
Dude, it's crazy how it's literally the same cycle. Like, you guys have a shit offseason, you don't do anything, but you guys in the regular season, you guys every year are a 10 to 12 win team. You guys are going to get in double digits every single year. You're going to snag the 2 or the 3 seed in the NFC, potentially behind San Fran or the Eagles or whoever, and then you guys get out in the first or second round. But besides that, we're going to move on to NBA playoffs. People have been saying the West is better than the East, and that's just been the story for the past couple of years. But now, I think the East might be more competitive this year in the playoffs than the West. Let's just take a look and go by the numbers here. In the West, the Timberwolves just swept the Phoenix Suns, who had KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, sent their ass home in 4. The Thunder's looking to sweep New Orleans. The Nuggets could beat the Lakers on 5, and Mavs and Clippers are tied at 2. But you go over to the Eastern side, you got Celtics up 2-1 against the Heat. You got Pacers up 3-1 against the Bucks without Giannis or Dame. You got the Knicks up 3-1. Embiid's been like, but then you have Magic's Cavs tied at 2 apiece. So, I don't know. This year's playoffs has been a doozy for sure.
I mean, I will say, like, those top 3 teams in the West, there was a 3-way tie with, like, 2 games to play. So, I mean, realistically, like, they're all worthy of the best team in the West. Timberwolves, Thunder, and Nuggets. They are. They're all having fantastic seasons, but, you know, the Pelicans had a pretty good regular season. Now look, Giannis got hurt in the playoff, or I'm sorry, Zion got hurt in the play-in, so that obviously is gonna have some effect on the series. But the Suns, no excuse. Not to win one game?
Got sent home in 4.
In 4. And they had a lead, and they had a lead last night. I know that. And to have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant
go for 80.
Go for 82, I think. Combined for 82.
Yeah, 82 combined.
Like, Bradley Beal, I know you played in Washington, and I know that was a dumpster fire, but that's not an excuse, dude. That's not an excuse. That is a big three. And I want to take this angle a little bit, dive a little deeper. You look at teams like the Clippers, who that is a 2-2 series, but James Harden, Kawhi Leonard can't stay healthy. Paul George. Now look at the Suns with those 3 superstars. I mean, are super teams even a thing anymore? Or is it how it's always been? Outside of the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat kind of ruined things for everybody. But look at the Golden State Warriors. Talked about them a few weeks ago. They were very good in the 2010s. Why? They drafted Steph Curry. They drafted Klay Thompson. They drafted Draymond Green. Right? They had the foundation, and they were successful. Now look at the Denver Nuggets, who are looking to run this decade. They drafted Nikola Jokic. They drafted Jamal Murray. They drafted Michael Porter Jr. They go out in free agency and sign a guy like Aaron Gordon, who has been very productive since he's gotten to Denver. And I just think it's not really a way. I mean, look at the Thunder. They drafted Shat Holmgren. They drafted Shai. Right? It's all built in the draft, and then you build up, and then you go out and grab an all-star or a superstar or somebody else. But you have to build a foundation first. And I think a lot of these teams are trying to cut corners, and I honestly think it's a thing of the old. T-Wolves, same thing. I mean, you drafted Cat. You drafted Anthony Edwards, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And then you go out and get a guy like Rudy Gobert, and they're doing very well. So, I don't know. And it's mostly out in the West. I mean, a lot of those teams I just named are in the West, whereas the East is more of like, you look at a team like the Magic. Magic are a competitive team. We saw them in Orlando against the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fun game.
They're a fun team to watch. And it's like the Magic, they're usually bottom, never even make the playoffs. But they built through the draft. So
you get Banchero, you get Anthony Black, you get Cole Anthony, you get Jalen Suggs, you get the Wagner brothers. And now I see the pattern here. You draft your team, you draft your young guys, and you just pick up 1, maybe 2 people just to fill in the piece, fill in the lineup there.
And I just don't think I really think you can even say the 2020 Lakers were an exception. They kind of bought that team with AD and LeBron, and it probably would have been a different story without the bubble. I'm not gonna lie, but regardless, I think teams were GMs were looking at that like, ooh, I need to go out and buy my team. It's just not working. And whether it's the fact that most guys just can't stay healthy. Kawhi Leonard cannot stay healthy. Kevin Durant's been banged up. Bradley Beal has injury history. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that have just not been able to stay healthy. And that's no shot against the team. But all I'm trying to say is, you can't win by just signing all the best players. You have to build a foundation and develop that chemistry, and that's what leads to championships. You saw it with, Golden State a decade ago, and now you're kind of seeing that with the Nuggets, in this decade. So I think that's the way to go from here on out.
I think a super team could work in today's age, but everything would have to just fall in place. Like KD said after the loss, after getting swept, he said, you know what? I was never really comfortable in this offense. I never really found my groove within this offense. I never really found my place. That's the number one thing when you have a big 3 like that is those guys got to find their place. They got to find their groove. They got to find where do they fit in this offense.
And I would say that's 3 offensive players on the same team. Bradley Beal, what is he known for? He's a scorer. Kevin Durant, what is he good at? He's a scorer. Devin Booker, a scorer. But when these guys can't score, They're a liability, man. They're a liability. And there is two sides to basketball. And when those guys aren't touching the ball, I mean, Booker scored 48 last night and they lost. You can't score damn near 50 and lose in the playoffs, let alone get swept at home on your own floor. I mean, it's just sad, man. Like, it's like, you look at these guys, like, well, you're bouncing around from team to team. No wonder you don't have any chemistry. Getting along with your teammates is how you win games. That's why the Nuggets are so successful, because they have a brotherhood within the locker room. Jokic is that big brother, but like they got Jamal Murray, they have Michael Porter Jr., they have Aaron Gordon. And look at interviews, man. Look at the Michael Porter Jr. interview from a couple days ago. Dude's going through a lot off the floor. But
his brother's in prison, right?
Yeah, but like he's saying I have brothers here that are supportive of me here. That's not happening in Phoenix. That's not happening in LA. Right? So that's why you need to grow as a team together. And if it takes a couple of years, fine. But look at the Thunder, man. Thunder turned it around real fast. And now they're the number one seed in the West. And they have a real shot at winning the entire thing.
Yeah, and look at the Suns, dude. They just, a few years ago in the 2021 playoffs, you go to the finals, you get up 2-0 against the Bucks, and you lose 4 straight. You lose in 6. In 2022, you force a Game 7 winner goes on to face the Golden State Warriors. You have 36 points in the third quarter at home. You get your fucking ass handed to you at home. I was watching that game here at my house, and Luka was just doing whatever he wanted with Cam Johnson. He would go down, he would fade, bank it off the glass, count it, and one. GG's. Send him home. Send him home. Get him the fuck out of here. Like, they bums. And then you go out, you get KD, you get Bradley Beal, but you can't have Devin Booker taking up the ball up the court every single time. That's just not going to work. You got to find an even ground. Devin, you do it here. Bradley, you do it there. But when you have 3 scorers, you're not going to find success. So that's the main reason why Minnesota beat their ass and sent them home in 4. But moving on to the East just for a second, like I think majority of these series will be more competitive if Dame and Giannis were in the game like that.
I was gonna say it would have been 2-2. It would be 2-2.
I think the Pacers in the next series, if Embiid got back a little bit earlier, I think it would be 2-2. It would be 2-2 if those guys came back. So, I mean, that Magic Cavs series, that's super fun to watch. Yeah. The Heat, the Heat is just a really gritty basketball team.
Miami's always a fun team to watch in the playoffs, even as an 8 seed. You know, I mean, they've had the Celtics number a couple of these years in a row, but fun team to watch. Very competitive. They play all the way through, and I don't know. I mean, it's more fun to watch the East. Everybody said, "Oh, the West is having a historical year."
But it's not fun watching them beat the shit out of everyone in the first round.
Now look, it is first round, right? We don't really know a true test until we get to the semis.
But next round,
I mean,
that's going to be Timberwolves Nuggets potentially. That is the Western Conference Finals matchup that everyone wants to see, and we're getting that in the second round.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge. I think the West will pick it up in the second and third round in Western Conference Finals, obviously. But just right now, it's just like the Thunder's just too good. Minnesota's just too good. The Nuggets, they're just too good. Like first round, they're gonna mop whoever. And talking about being too good. When you look at the greatest playoff players of all time, you got Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, even LeBron James. But now there's one that is rising to the very top, and we talked about him earlier. That is Anthony Edwards. This man said in a post-game press conference, it said, "Anthony, how are you doing it, my man?" And he said, "Hey, I just want to kill everybody out there. Whoever you put in front of me, I just want to kill him. I just want to just murder him." And that is what he did to Kevin Durant. You saw him all series talking his shit to Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant,
that's his favorite player.
Yeah, that's his favorite
That's his favorite player.
You saw him hitting the dinner Generation X, just hitting this shit. He
yammed on him.
Fucking put his nuts on his forehead last night. Pause. Like he was going crazy, dude. And I think Anthony Edwards could potentially be the next Kobe Bryant. That could be a hot take, but think about it. This man had one bad game in that series. He dropped 15 points, shot 3 for 12. Again, that's pretty bad, but he followed up with 36 and then 40 in the game to send him home.
And they were down for a majority of that game last night.
Yeah, they were. I think Booker hit that crazy fader going into half, I think, to put him up by a couple points. Yeah. But Anthony Edwards, like, we don't really see that just straight killer mentality anymore. I'm sure if you play in the NBA and if you're in the playoffs, I'm sure you have it. Obviously, you're in the NBA for a reason. But at this level, I don't think we see it that much anymore. Like, this guy, he doesn't care how big you are, how fast you are, how strong you are. He does not give a shit about any of that. Who's ever guarding him, he's going to go for 50 every single time. And that's exactly what Kobe Bryant did. And Kobe Bryant got, 5 rings?
Yeah.
And so, especially if Minnesota wins the finals this year, I think Anthony Edwards is on track to become a NBA great for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was his first playoff series win, so
first sweep in Minnesota history too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best team in Minnesota since Kevin Garnett was there, by far. But yeah, I think it's great for the game what he's saying off the floor. I mean, he said about Kevin Durant, he's gonna talk to him summer camp and remind him every day that he sent him home. I mean, that's something that's like, okay, this dude's about it. And you watch him play, he's fun. He can fly, he can shoot, he can play defense. I mean, he's just a fun player to watch, and we're gonna see him playing, a couple months in the Olympics with Team USA. But I think he's a great young player. I think they've got a lot of that team's got a lot of potential. And I was one that hated the fact that they got Gobert. I did not think Cat and Gobert were gonna work, but my God, watching them last night, dude, that's a scary duo down low. And when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards running the point up top, things can get a lot. You will fear them. I mean, Jamal Murray and Jokic, that 1 in 5, the pick and rolls, the lobs, the defense, the being on the same page. See a lot of similarities between those two teams. So I totally agree, dude. I think the young guy's on a great path. He's on a great trajectory, and I think I'm not gonna say Kobe just yet. But I think he's well on his way to being one of the top players in the NBA.
100%. You said it right before you started your statements. Like, he's great for the game. He's Kevin Durant's his favorite player of all time, and he beat the shit out of him, and he's gonna let him know in summer camp. Like that's what you need for the game. You don't need a guy like John Morant, who's a great player but terrible off the floor.
Right.
Anthony Edwards is a good role model for young NBA fans. He did have that mix up with his baby mama, but that's a whole different discussion. Now let's get straight into our prospect rankings. All right, I'm going to start us off here. We're going D2 today. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going Emmanuel College senior pitcher Drake Drakeford. This guy.
Ooh, what a name.
Yeah, what a name. What a tongue twister, huh? He's a pitcher, 3-0 record, 3.1 ERA for you guys. I'm sure everyone watching this show knows what an ERA is, but it's earned runs on average. And 3, that's pretty solid. He has 22 strikeouts and 26 innings pitched. And he has the lowest ERA on the team.
That's good.
As a relief pitcher myself, back in my playing days, that's exactly what you need to do. You just go out there, you just get them out, dude. Like strikeouts, like that's awesome. That's cool for the stat sheet, but keep that ERA low and just get batters out. And that's exactly what my man Drake is doing up at Emmanuel College. So shout out Drake. You're a senior, so your season's coming into an end, brother. But good shit.
Yes, sir. All right, heading up here from Felician University. Got the first baseman, Ricky Voss. What a name!
Voss.
I think we got it on 2 or 3 weeks in a row with cool names.
Yeah.
Ricky Voss leads the team in RBIs, driving runners in, playing exceptionally well. They're 25-21, so not the best record, but they started out in a pretty big slump. I think they lost their first couple of series, so wasn't great, but he's got a .435 on base percentage, so he's getting on base almost half the time there, which he's up there, top 3 in the team. Tied with homers with 6, and he's only missed 3 games. Because I know in baseball, you know this. You know, if you're not a pitcher, you got to play every game. But baseball, it's a long season. You know, it's hard to play every single game. But when this guy shows up to work, they're being productive, and he's a big reason that they bounce back from their ugly start to the season. So Ricky Voss, Felician University, shout out to you.
Shout out Ricky, baby. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of Down South Up North. Man, this was NBA heavy today. Really got into the NBA playoffs. Really talked about our man Edwards, and it felt good ranting last week about Michael. But
who is how old? How old, Kyle? How old is Michael Penix Jr.?
Guys, his birthday is on early May, so he's about to turn 24.
Yes, there we go.
So I had to shave because you guys were calling me 12, so I had to shave. If you guys still want to talk about it, I'm still game. Like, that's a dog shit pick. So go to our YouTube shorts and we can argue about it. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.